Have you ever noticed how some people can sit in a messy room and feel completely fine, while others feel restless almost instantly? It's not about being obsessed with cleaning, and it's definitely not about perfection. It's something deeper. For certain people, a messy space doesn't just look chaotic, it actually feels chaotic on a mental level. Their attention doesn't settle. Their mind keeps scanning the environment, picking up small details most people ignore. A chair slightly out of place, objects left where they don't belong, surfaces that feel visually unfinished. And even if they try to ignore it, that awareness doesn't switch off. It lingers in the background, not loud enough to cause stress immediately, but persistent enough to slowly drain their energy. So when they clean, it's not about appearances, it's about removing that constant low level tension and finally feeling at ease in their own space. Your brain is constantly processing your surroundings even when you're not actively paying attention. Every object in your environment carries meaning. A clean surface communicates completion, a cluttered one communicates something unfinished. And your brain treats unfinished things like open loops that need to be resolved. It keeps them active in the background, pulling your attention again and again without you even realizing it. This is why clutter feels mentally exhausting. You're not just looking at the mess, your brain is working around it, filtering it, organizing it, trying to predict what needs to be done next. That effort is subtle, but it accumulates. Over time, it creates fatigue, reduces focus, and makes even simple tasks feel heavier than they should. So when someone says they can't relax in a messy environment, what they really mean is this: their mind doesn't get a break from processing. But there's something even deeper behind this behavior, and it has less to do with cleaning itself and more to do with control. Most of life is unpredictable. You can't control what people say, how situations unfold, or what happens outside your immediate world. That lack of control creates a quiet tension that many people carry without realizing it. But your environment is different. That's one of the few areas where your actions have immediate, visible results. And for some people, maintaining a clean and ordered space becomes a way of restoring that sense of control. Every small action, putting something back where it belongs, wiping a surface, resetting a space, sends a clear signal to the brain things are handled. That signal matters more than it seems, because when your surroundings feel stable and predictable, your internal state begins to mirror that stability. This is why cleaning isn't really about discipline. Even though it might look that way from the outside, it's not about forcing yourself to do something unpleasant over and over again. What you're seeing in people who keep their space clean consistently is not discipline, it's automation. They're not making a decision every time. They've removed the need to decide. The behavior has become part of a system that runs in the background. Just like brushing your teeth or checking your phone, it happens without resistance. And once something reaches that level, it stops feeling like effort. That's why it seems easy for them. Not because they are more motivated or more disciplined, but because they've eliminated the friction that most people struggle with. The habit no longer depends on mood, energy, or willpower. There's also an identity layer here that most people completely overlook. Human behavior is not random, it follows patterns based on how we see ourselves. If someone believes they are an organized person, they will naturally act in ways that support that belief. If they believe they are messy, they will unconsciously allow things to fall apart without much resistance. But identity is not something you're born with, it's something you build. Every small action becomes evidence. When you clean something immediately instead of delaying it, you're not just maintaining your space, you're reinforcing a different version of yourself. And over time, those small pieces of evidence accumulate. Your brain updates its understanding of who you are. Eventually, the behavior becomes natural because it aligns with your identity. For some people, the impact goes beyond focus and control and becomes deeply emotional. A messy environment doesn't just distract them, it creates a sense of discomfort that's hard to explain. It feels heavy, like something is slightly wrong, even if nothing obvious is happening. And the moment the space is cleaned, that feeling disappears almost instantly. There's relief, a noticeable shift, not because the room looks better, but because their nervous system finally settles. The brain stops scanning for problems, the body relaxes, and that contrast, from tension to calm, becomes addictive in a subtle way. That's what reinforces the behavior. It's not about enjoying the act of cleaning itself, it's about how dramatically it changes the internal state. You've probably experienced something similar without fully noticing it. Cleaning when you feel stressed, organizing things when your mind feels overwhelmed, or suddenly needing to fix your surroundings when something feels off. This isn't random behavior. It's your brain trying to regulate itself through action, movement, structure, visible progress. These are powerful signals. They tell your mind that something is being resolved, that things are moving toward order instead of chaos. And for people who clean regularly, this becomes a built in system, a way to reset their state without needing to think about it consciously. Instead of sitting with the tension, they act on it, and that action creates relief. The real difference comes down to timing. People who maintain a clean space don't wait for things to get overwhelming. They act early. Small actions, repeated consistently, prevent large problems from ever forming. A dish washed immediately never turns into a pile. A surface wiped daily never becomes something that requires effort. And because the tasks remain small, they don't feel heavy. This is where most people struggle. They delay, not because they are lazy, but because the task feels too big once it builds up. Avoidance increases and the cycle continues. But the shift is simpler than it seems. You don't need to clean everything, you just need to stop things from growing. So think about this for a moment. Do you actually feel different when your space is clean? Or does it not affect you that much? And if it does, how much of your energy is quietly being shaped by the environment you live in every day? If this made you see your habits differently, subscribe.